Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3's Live at 4.
It's Friday.
It sure is.
And it's going to be a hot one.
Yeah, it really is going to be a hot one. You can hear Michael Bruno will be along with the News Hound, so a busy show coming up. So here's what's making news today. People around the area are picking up after storms hit yesterday afternoon. Unity Point Meritor is attempting to merge with another Midwest healthcare company. And President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin met today during the G20 Economic Summit in Japan. We'll share the latest. But we also have a sports update here.
That's right.
The U.S. women's soccer team continues to dominate at the World Cup in France, despite historically hot weather today.
It was the hottest day in history in France,
ever,
right?
Yes.
115 degrees. The team played the French women's team in Paris during the World Cup quarterfinal. As we just said, they beat them 2-1 just a few minutes ago. So now they'll head on to the semifinals against England on Tuesday.
Hopefully it'll be a little cooler than it was there today.
It's really exciting.
It's warm here, but not that warm. Let's take a look outside. That's sort of an ominous cloud. That was from this morning.
This is like a compilation of different weather shots.
Wow. It was a stormy start to the day.
It's a beautiful shot.
And it's going to be a hot and humid weekend. Dave Caulfield is in the backyard, sweating to the oldies.
Yeah, not quite 115 degrees like they saw in France today, but it will definitely be a hot and humid weekend now that we can kind of say goodbye to the storms that were around this morning. And those storms actually kept temperatures a little bit cooler than forecast. The clouds have been around for much of the day, but we haven't seen any more in the way of showers or thunderstorms. A live look in Madison and mostly cloudy skies. The humidity has built back in, though, on the WISC-TV Skycam. Temperatures right now are in the lower to middle 80s across southern Wisconsin, 70s near Lake Michigan, but dew points in the mid 60s and even some 70s showing up closer to southwestern Wisconsin. So with dew points near 70, temperatures near 90 this weekend, it's going to feel like triple-digit heat, at least in isolated spots. For the rest of us, mid to upper 90s, so not much better. For the time being, though, temperatures will fall through the 70s. Can't rule out a quick shower or storm tonight, but really, I think most of us are going to stay dry, even though it doesn't feel dry outside. Feeling quite on the muggy side. So here's a look at your first alert traffic update. Todd Drive and the Beltline. Some slow go in both directions. Westbound definitely looking better than eastbound. We did have a couple of incidents that we wanted to tell you about. There was an earlier accident on US 151, a little bit farther north of Sun Prairie, that was causing some delays. It looks to be a little bit better now. And also a car fire close to Fish Hatchery Road that could be causing some backups on the eastbound side as well. And normal traffic starting to pile up Friday on the Beltline, after all. Eastbound Verona Road to John Nolan, that is running pretty slow, 12 minutes right now with an average speed of around 25 miles per hour. Some other drive times for you. Middleton to Sauk City westbound on the Beltline, we are looking pretty good, 16 minutes with an average speed of around 60 miles per hour. That's your first alert traffic update. We'll talk more about the heat and humidity on the way this weekend in your first alert forecast.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. Let's look at some more weather pictures now. These are photos from Nakusa, where lightning struck a boat and started it on fire this morning. No one was hurt, but firefighters say the boat is a total loss.
I'd say so. Firefighters in the town of Burke confirm a lightning strike caused a house fire this morning. Sun Prairie firefighters were dispatched to the scene on Ratman Road after a homeowner heard a loud bang. Firefighters say the lightning hit the back corner of the home and caused smoke and drywall damage. Firefighters responded to about a half dozen lightning strikes to homes each year. And today's weather is only a reminder of what we went through on Wednesday.
Some people got through the day with quite a story to tell. Our Amy Reed joins us now with one of them. Amy?
A group from Greater Insurance Services was out on Lake Monona about this time yesterday. They were supposed to be heading out on a lake cruise, but the weather didn't keep them there long. Here's some of the video that they took while they were out there. Heavy winds and high waves got in the way as they tried to make it back to shore as fast as they could. The group told me the weather looked great before. They were supposed to be on a 3-hour cruise as a company retreat, but they only got about a half hour into it before across the horizon they saw the storm coming.
From there, we could see it coming across the water. We didn't even have seconds to think about it. Literally, we all just kind of got up and thought we were going to get wet. But it all turned ugly fast.
They said the captain of the boat took the worst of it. He got knocked over by the canopy and it broke the chair he was supposed to sit on. Still, he got them back to shore from his knees. Now, the group said that they don't hold any ill will toward the company. They said now it's just a good story, and if you can believe it, they're willing to go out there again.
Just keep it high in the skies. Amy, thank you.
Thank you, Amy. The threat of more stormy weather tonight has moved tonight's Live on King Street inside. Organizers of the event say the band Built to Spill will now play inside at the Majestic Theater. The doors open at 7 and the show will start at 8. It's expected to fill up quickly, so if you want to go, get there early.
Unity Point Health Meritor is joining forces with another Midwest health group. The Iowa-based Unity Point has announced it will merge with South Dakota-based Sanford Health. The merger will make it one of the 15 largest nonprofit health care groups in the country. Officials say it's still under review, but is expected to be completed by the end of this year.
We're getting a first look at the reunion between a Beloit mother and her baby who was taken from her. Ashley Floyd drove to northwestern Ohio to get her 7-month-old son back. That's where someone alerted police they saw her husband, Jeb Sparks Sr., who allegedly took the child. His mother was with them. Sparks Sr. was wanted on substantial battery charges. Summerfest staff are investigating after one of last night's headliners accused a security guard of being racist and attacking her team.
Lizzo says she is out for blood after the incident. Our Amanda Quintana is here with the details. Amanda?
Yeah, well, Lizzo was the headliner at the Harley-Davidson Roadhouse stage last night with more than 10,000 people in the audience. She tweeted that it was a beautiful night, but, quote, racism and bigotry don't care if you're a headliner. She says a security guard tackled and attacked her team, slapping and manhandling her hairstylist and stylist. Summerfest is investigating, saying they have crowd management staff to protect performers and fans, but they're expected to handle things professionally and respectfully, and they do not tolerate racism in any form. Lizzo is asking anyone who has a video of this attack to send it in.
Yeah, it's a little disturbing.
Yeah.
All right, Amanda, thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Tensions between the U.S. and Iran remain high. Democrats are pushing for congressional approval of any military strikes against the country. Democratic senators forced a vote on an amendment that would require President Trump to seek congressional approval before ordering military strikes. The move comes 1 week after the president called off a strike against the country for shooting down a U.S. drone.
This is a very, very strong signal to the president to don't get into a war in Iran.
There's absolutely no time pressure. I think that in the end, hopefully it's going to work out. If it does, great, and if it doesn't, you'll be hearing about it.
As for the Senate measure, as expected, it did not pass. It was primarily intended to get lawmakers on the record about the issue.
President Trump is in Osaka, Japan for the G20 Economic Summit, but it's the private meetings on the sidelines of the summit that are often the most important moments of these meetings. Katherine Johnson has more details from the White House.
President Trump shared a lighthearted moment about election interference during his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The two leaders appeared to be enjoying the moment, but the White House insists election interference isn't being taken as a joke.
This administration has taken election meddling seriously. In fact, it's literally been hundreds of millions of dollars that we've provided to states to help secure the election process.
President Trump will also be focused on trade when he has his meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping tonight.
I think it'll be productive, and who knows, but I think it'll be productive. At a minimum, it will be productive. We'll see what happens and what comes out of it.
The U.S. has already slapped China with a 25% tariff on $250 billion worth of Chinese-made goods. And President Trump has said he'll decide after the summit whether he'll move forward with the same tariff on an additional $300 billion worth of imports. Trade talks with China broke down in May, but China's foreign ministry is now hoping Washington can meet China halfway to end the trade disputes between the two nations. Katherine Johnson, CBS News, the White House.
President Trump and President Xi are also expected to discuss North Korea. Xi met with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un prior to the G20 summit.
When we come back, still to come at 4, the first round of the Democratic presidential debates are now history.
We'll look back at both nights of the debate. EW political science professor David Cannon gives us his perspective when Live at 4 continues. Enjoy.
The Food and Drug Administration is naming names of dog food brands that are possibly linked to cases of canine heart disease.
The agency is investigating more than 500 reports of dilated cardiomyopathy in dogs linked to grain-free dog food. The FDA is now releasing the names of 16 brands most frequently identified in the cases. Some brands are associated with as many as 60 reports of illness. Dr. Julie Churchill is a veterinary nutritionist at the University of Minnesota. She believes there is no benefit to feeding your dog a grain-free diet.
My takeaway is don't look at that list and just say, my dog is not eating that brand. Remember that those are only the brands that have been reported.
The FDA says large and giant breed dogs seem to be most affected, but there's also been cases in smaller dogs. Pet owners are encouraged to contact pet food makers or their veterinarians with any concerns.
Investors are waiting for the U.S.-China meeting at the G20 summit, so stocks closed slightly higher. The Dow Industrials added 73 points to end the week at 26,599. The Nasdaq Composite Index gained 38, and the S&P 500 was up 16. Well, this week, voters got their first chance to look at the Democratic field of candidates running for president, and it set a record number of viewers.
NBC says more than 18 million people tuned into last night's debate debate, making it the most watched Democratic debate ever. UW-Madison political science professor David Cannon joins us now to talk about what we saw this week. Thanks for being with us today.
Hi, David. Good to see you.
Good to be with you.
And there was no other way to do this. You had to do 2 nights with that many candidates.
That's right.
Did it dilute anything, do you think?
Well, one thing that was good about the format the Democrats did, they didn't do the adult table and the kiddie table the way the Republicans did 4 years ago. So I think it did help to have some of the major candidates on Wednesday night and some on Thursdays. A little more backloaded to Thursday night. There are a few of the more of the top contenders, but they tried to make that more even between the two. So I think that generated more interest than if you would have had like all the headliners in one and then sort of the backup team in the second one. So I think the structure of it was good.
Let's talk about last night first before we talk about the first round. What were your impressions? It was a little bit more contentious than the first 10.
It was. So 2 things I think that stood out for me. One is more focus on Trump. That a lot of the candidates were, when they talked about immigration, when they talked about climate change, they were putting attention on Trump's failed policies according to them, and here's what I'm going to do instead. And there wasn't as much of that on Wednesday night. And the other thing, of course, was the focus on Biden. The moment that everyone was talking about today was the Kamala Harris and going after Biden on the issue of busing and his talking to the Southern in positive terms, all these Southern segregationists that he worked with in the Senate. And Harris talked to us about very personal terms. Like in 2nd grade, I was on the school bus that helped desegregate this.
She tweeted a picture of herself.
Yeah, she sure did, yeah. So they were all over that.
It was premeditated, this whole...
It was premeditated, but she did a really nice job, I think, of not only on that issue, but in general. I think she probably was the strongest of the candidates in terms of talking passionately about the issues that she cares about, and she's widely seen, I think, as the winner of last night.
How about Wednesday night? Who won that?
Well, overall, you'd have to say Warren probably, just because she's clearly was the front runner coming in, seemed to be the most engaged on the issues. Castro's the other one that I think probably exceeded expectations. Not that many people know that much about him, and so he, I think, had some good points as well. And then the other one I think from last night was Mayor Pete Buttigieg from South Bend, Indiana. I think he also spoke very passionately about the issues that he cared about, and I think for many viewers, probably was the first time they really had a chance to hear much from him.
Did you sense a generational divide?
Absolutely, yeah, no doubt. In fact, I thought the 2 weakest candidates last night were Biden and Sanders. Biden on several moments was really almost at a loss for words, like just was having a hard time making his argument. Then other times he was like almost yelling, like trying to appear to be passionate when he really wasn't addressing questions very directly. So I thought it was a very weak night for Biden. And Sanders, too, seemed to be a bit off his game. And so you could tell like it was the younger candidates, that next generation, seemed to be certainly talking more about climate change and the issues that the younger millennials care about. And I think there was that generational divide you could see just in terms of how the performance went last night.
Can a lesser candidate stand out after a debate like this with so many people on stage?
It's tough because the lesser candidate, someone like a Yang, for example, first time I had seen him, to be totally honest, never seen him before on TV. He got a lot of buzz from Silicon Valley. He made a couple of good comments, but yeah, he had maybe 5 minutes that he talked or something, and so it really is hard to get your time on the air when you got 10 people on stage. And so they did tend to let the front runners talk more. I noticed that if you look at the account of like number of words spoken, it definitely was the front runners that had more of the airtime, which I think is the way it should be, but it does make it tough for those people who are trying to edge in there.
And then what happens after this? Do you think the pack will stay this big, or is this going to start the winnowing process?
Well, ideally it would start the winnowing process because social scientists have discovered that about 7 choices is the maximum any of us can keep in our head. Like you get past 7 things and it just makes it hard to calculate and figure out what's going on. And so I think a lot of people would really like having a much smaller field. My guess is this won't winnow too much yet. Maybe the next round where they will have a higher bar you have to meet to make the debate. And so there'll be some more candidates winnow out from the debates. And once you're not in the debates, it's going to get harder to raise money. And so I think you will see some people dropping out. Certainly I would say by early fall.
Next debate, a month away.
That's right.
End of July. So we'll see what happens then.
Very good.
David,
we'll have you back.
Thanks for being with us today.
Great to see you.
Good to see you.
When Live at 5 returns, Dave Caulfield will have an update on storm chances tonight.
And tonight at 5, for decades, dogs have not been allowed in most Madison City parks. But that could change. That's coming up on News 3 Now at 5.
Take a look at this. You're probably going to want to find a way to cool off this weekend. This is one way, I guess. The family was trying to tube on a lake in Arkansas, but one by one, they ended up flying off the tube and skipping across the surface of the water. Apparently, this is a fun thing to do.
Oh, yikes.
Because there's a lot of tubing and a lot of crashing, and for some reason, a lot of laughing.
Have you ever been on one of those like banana boats that like skips you across the water?
I've seen them.
Those can be pretty dangerous, but very
Well, look at
fun,
this thing that's flying in the air.
Yeah, they're going fast.
Like rocks across the water.
Well, the 4th of July is a great time for hot dogs. Feltman's on Coney Island has produced what they hope is the world's largest hot dog. It took 3 men to carry the 66-pound, 5-foot-long, 100% beef hot dog to a grill where it cooked for 2 hours before it was placed on an equally large bun. Topped with mustard and sauerkraut, it was then served to the public.
Oh, that last part. Served to the public. Should not be the case.
2 hours.
That also seems a little bit too low, like as a cooking time. Like I feel like we should cook it more for how big that is.
I never heard of Feltman's on Coney Island, but apparently, there you go.
I'm a Nathan's guy. I don't know.
Well, that's the 4th of July, right? The big hot dog eating contest?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to eat that. No.
He's still a little groggy because he's been sleeping all day. This is so funny.
So my wife and son are away for the weekend.
2-month-old son.
2-month-old son. So the thunderstorms this morning woke me up, but I woke up at 1 p.m. I slept for 14 hours.
But you miss him, so.
Yeah, I miss him.
You
I
couldn't
really
get out
do.
of bed.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what it was.
Every new parent knows exactly what you're talking about.
You needed some sleep.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we'll get some better sleep. Not too many chances for storms as we head into tonight, but the chances for heat and humidity are there this weekend. We'll talk about that in your first alert forecast after I get a quick nap in during the commercial break. Good afternoon. Hopefully you had a really nice Friday. It was tough to sleep through, even with 14 hours of sleep. The thunderstorms this morning, they were pretty strong, and those rumbles of thunder very, very loud. Check out this photo from Kenton Fowler over Madison. You can see the bolts of lightning. There was a healthy amount of lightning and also another shelf cloud coming through from these stronger thunderstorms this morning. Kenton, thank you so much for sending this in. We'd love to get your weather photos, especially when they are as picturesque as both of those. So a healthy dose of rain as well from those storms this morning. About an inch of rain falling in Madison today. This whole week has been quite the rainy one, with about 2 inches of rain falling in Madison, getting our monthly total up over 4 inches. Remember, this is typically one of our wetter months, so we should have about 4.5 inches by the end of the month. So we're actually pretty much on schedule when it comes to that rain. Hopefully we don't get many more days like this morning, though, because those totals start to add up. High resolution Doppler showing pretty quiet conditions over the last 3 hours or so. Any rain activity has been well to our south across portions of Iowa and Illinois. For southern Wisconsin, pretty quiet across the area. Now, there is a outside chance of maybe a shower and storm this evening, and especially if they do form southeast of Madison, some of those could be a little bit on the strong side. So we're watching the skies, but really the trend has been for rain chances to go downward as we get into this evening. Still have the umbrella ready to go, though, because when it's this humid out, it doesn't take much for the atmosphere to spark a few storms. Madison, the WISC-TV Skycam, looking at mostly cloudy skies. That sunshine still filtering through a bit. Today's high, 81 degrees, right at normal. Gold star for Mother Nature for this time of year. But temperatures could have been a lot warmer had it not been for that early round of showers and thunderstorms. The clouds kind of stuck around for much of the day, not allowing a lot of that sunshine in. So 81 the temperature right now in Madison, 84 in Janesville. The 70s closer to Lake Michigan and across southwestern Wisconsin. The warm spot 86 in Mineral Point. You factor in that dew point with dew points in the 70s, and you factor in that humidity. It feels like 93 in Mineral Point, feeling like 83 in Madison, feeling like 90 in Janesville. And the hot and humid weather will stay with us this weekend into early next week. Alert days in the forecast for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for high temperatures near 90 degrees. Heat index values in the mid to upper 90s. Some of us, not out of the question, if we get those dew points well into the 70s, that it will feel like the triple digits outside for portions of this weekend in isolated spots. But we still need to stay hydrated, take frequent breaks. Remember, this is our first real taste of an extended stretch of hot and humid weather for southern Wisconsin this year. So practice those heat safety tips. Stay hydrated, limit strenuous outdoor activities, check on the elderly and pets, and find public spaces with AC. Find ways to stay cool this weekend. We want to have fun, a lot of outdoor activities scheduled, but we want to do that safely with that heat. Temperatures near 70 tonight. Can't rule out an isolated evening thunderstorm. Otherwise, mild and muggy, partly cloudy overnight. Temperatures tomorrow near 90 degrees, hot and humid, partly sunny. Doesn't really look like too much in the way of thunderstorm activity tonight or into Saturday, which I guess is good news, although when things are this hot and humid, you can use a little thunderstorm activity to cool things down a bit. But on Sunday, we're seeing our new model trends, and we noticed that some showers and thunderstorms possible at times on Sunday. So we'll keep a slight chance of showers and storms in the forecast for Sunday with that heat and humidity, and then chances for showers and storms visit us for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. For the 4th of July, temperatures will be in the mid-80s. Can't rule out a shower and storm, but chances don't look all that good. So I think the only fireworks in the sky will be any fireworks that are planned, not showers and storms. But those storm chances do come back for Friday and Saturday, with temperatures a little bit closer to 80 degrees by next weekend.
Summer's here.
Oh, yes, for sure.
With a vengeance.
Yes.
All right, get some sleep. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Well, Chris Reese will be here to keep us up to date on the weekend weather on News 3 Now tomorrow morning.
And then stay tuned Sunday for the CBS Sunday Morning Show. Well, Mo Rocca is filling in for Jane Pauley this Sunday morning. He joins us now from New York with a preview. Hello, Mo.
Hi, Mark. How are you doing?
Doing great.
We've got a terrific show coming up on Sunday. Gayle King sits down with the former Anna Mae Bullock. You know her as Tina Turner. Now, back in 1986, Tina Turner met a young German music executive at a party. She was 46, he was 30. Here's what happened. Roll tape.
There's a great story in the book. You all are at a dinner, and it's a very cheeky move on your part. Go ahead, share it, Tina. What did you say?
So I said to Urban, when you get to California, I want you to make love to me. Because I did.
But Tina, who says that to somebody?
You say it if you feel it. No, you're not going to get it otherwise.
Yes.
But that's what I wanted.
Inviting him into the Thunderdome. I mean, wow. Martha Teichner goes down to Philadelphia to visit the Museum of the American Revolution, where they've got some amazing relics, including George Washington's tent that he carried around with him during battle. And I go to Milwaukee to report on the phenomenon of frozen custard. Now, you should know this. When you're in Milwaukee, you don't ask for ice cream. You ask for frozen custard. I'm guessing Madison, which isn't that far away, right? You've got frozen custard there, right?
We have frozen custard all over the place, as a matter of fact, and it's spectacular.
Do you really like it more than ice cream?
I do. Yeah, I like it more than ice cream.
Do you know the difference?
I think the fat content?
It's eggs.
Oh, okay.
That frozen custard has more eggs and the yolk included. That's what makes it creamier, Mark.
Right. We'll learn something every day. Thank you, Mo. We'll see you. We'll see you Sunday, 8 a.m. Have a good weekend.
Enjoy the show.
It's eggs, Mark.
You didn't know it was going to be Stump the Anchor, did you?
Eggs, Mark.
Now we know. We knew that.
There's more to come at 4. The modern gay rights movement started 50 years ago today.
It is the anniversary of the Stonewall Inn uprising in New York City. We'll find out what started the riots and the impact they've had when Live at 4 continues.
Here is a live look from Platteville, kind of gray and cloudy there, warm and humid all over southern Wisconsin. 50 years ago today, crowds at New York City's Stonewall Inn took a stand. Their uprising against the police is remembered as a major catalyst in the gay rights movement.
Tom Hansen looks back at the legacy of Stonewall and its place in history.
Bartender Tree Sequoia remembers the night police raided the Stonewall Inn 50 years ago.
We heard the screaming coming in from that side. We knew it was another raid when we hear that, but we did not know that was the raid of all raids because we were so used to raids.
On June 28, 1969, the LGBTQ community finally took a stand, fighting back against police who routinely raided the Greenwich Village bar. Throwing stones and bottles, they launched the battle for gay rights. Before the riots, homosexuality was mostly forced underground.
The CBS News survey shows that 2 out of 3 Americans look upon homosexuals with disgust, discomfort, or fear.
An era brought to light in the New York Historical Society's latest exhibition on LGBTQ nightlife before and after Stonewall.
The exhibition covers the 50s through the 90s.
Museum director Margie Hofer describes how the Stonewall became a landmark in the gay liberation movement.
The exhibition explores, very importantly, how this environment provided a safe haven and an arena for letting loose. That was really critical for this community.
The Stonewall's owners say it still provides a forum for activism.
What can the average person do to support the cause?
To realize where they came from, to realize that the right they have now wasn't always there, and if they don't fight for it, they could lose it again.
It's critical that Stonewall continues to be that globalized symbol and continues to lead the fight and stays at the forefront of the gay rights movement.
And to be remembered as the place where pride began. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
On Sunday, coinciding with the Stonewall anniversary, New York will host the biggest gay pride celebration in the world with a march through Manhattan.
And when we come back, we're headed backstage with Michael Bruno.
He's checking out Verona Area Community Theater's production of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, fight for a fender, chitty chitty friend.
Good afternoon. Here is your Friday First Alert traffic update, taking a live look at Todd Drive in the Beltline. We're noticing some slow-go on both sides of the Beltline. The eastbound side, normal traffic for a Friday afternoon, but some sort of incident has developed in the last couple of minutes on the westbound side. So really, you're going to see delays no matter what direction that you're traveling in. The good news is the accidents from earlier on this afternoon have been cleared, but still we're noticing those red and yellow colors closer to Todd Drive through Park Street and pretty far along on the eastbound side. Average speeds of around 20 miles per hour there. And right now, eastbound John Nolan to the interstate, that'll cost you 6 minutes with an average speed of around 45 miles per hour. Some other routes in and around Madison, University Ave to the interstate, it's about 23 minutes right now with an average speed of around 40 miles per hour. That is your First Alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. This could be the smallest Pride Parade ever. Legoland Discovery Center has created a miniature version of New York City's famed Pride Parade, featuring a colorful assortment of floats, rainbow flags, and uniquely dressed spectators. The mini parade honors the 50th anniversary of Stonewall, as we just talked about. The mini parade took 25 hours to plan and build. There are some 1,500 Lego bricks involved. It's kind of fun.
That's very cool, yeah.
Well, the movie about a flying car moved to the Broadway stage in 2005. Now the musical Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is a favorite production for high schools and community theaters.
Such as the Verona Area Community Theater, which is currently staging Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Our Michael Bruno went to Verona to go backstage and check it out.
It's called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Well, that's a curious name for a motor car.
But that's the sound it makes. Listen.
So Chitty Chitty Bang Bang tells the story of Caractacus Potts. He is a widowed inventor who has 2 children, and his children absolutely fall in love with this old race car at Coggin's garage. And they think it's just a broken down race car. What they don't realize is that this car was such a victorious car that these 2 royals in fictional Bulgaria want it and are already plotting to get it before they even find out that the car, after Caractacus works on it, can fly, can float, can escape danger. So it's all about the adventures that this family, who thought they just fixed up this old race car experience, when the Bulgarian nationals are coming after them for the car.
You're sleek as a thoroughbred. Your seats are a feather bed. You turn everybody's head today.
I end up getting into all sorts of trouble. Like, we get captured at some point. It's very bad. But then Chitty comes to rescue us, and then we just end up in the happy endings.
Oh,
Chitty, chitty, pretty, chitty, bang, bang, chitty, chitty, bang, bang, we love you.
So was it kind of scary the first time you did it?
Yes, it was scary. It was one of the nights at the end of the rehearsal, and I was just very freaked out once I saw it. I thought, well, this is gonna be amazing going it, but once I actually went in, I thought it was gonna fall off. And
bang, bang, chitty, chitty, bang, bang, our fine four-fender friends.
And how difficult was it for you to actually have to like manipulate the car and sing and do your lines and drive the car at the same time?
We find that out tomorrow, right? No, it's been fantastic. You get to learn a lot of different things. It's tricky for sure. It's very challenging, but I'm sure I will do my best and everyone will love it.
Bang, bang, chitty, chitty, bang, bang.
And tell me about your character. How does your character fit into this whole craziness?
Truly gets roped into the Potts family adventure. She's the heiress of a candy factory, and she falls in love a little bit along the way.
Chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang. And I noticed that obviously one of the characters is the villain of the piece. It's a little dark in the movie, but I hear that you kind of lightened him up a little bit for the show.
A little bit, because my husband even still says that he still has nightmares based on the child catcher when he saw the movie when he was younger, but we've lightened him up a little bit, but he's still pretty scary.
Chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang.
So our summer show, we always try to keep it very family friendly. So it's a great opportunity to bring kids out who maybe even haven't seen a show before to come and experience a very lively, very bubbly, very colorful production that's appropriate. It has fun music, very lively visuals that kids can watch and enjoy. Unlike, more serious musicals that sometimes kids are like, I'm bored. These summer shows are great for kids to watch.
Chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, fine four-fender, chitty chitty friend.
It's quite a production. Michael is here now.
Everybody's saying that. That's like an earworm now. It's in your head and you cannot get it out. But it's such a great fun, fun for all family, kids and adults and senior citizens. All love that show.
And they rented that car. It travels the country.
There's one car that travels the country, and that has to do all the shows that have been rented. You have to, of course, rent the car to go with it because it levitates. It has the little wings that come out. It's got the bells and whistles and all the good stuff that comes with it. So it's actually a character in the show.
When it works.
When it works, exactly. Got to keep that thing running.
It's a big cast.
It is a very big cast. Now, this is the community theater, Roanoke Area Community Theater. So they have kids and all ages are in this. So it's a really wonderful production, really fun.
It's your last chance to see it. It opened last weekend.
That's correct. It opened last weekend, but it is running this weekend as well.
All right. It's the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
It's the greatest title ever.
Was that Dick Van Dyke in the movie?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm. It's at the Verona High School. Tonight, 7:30. Tomorrow at 7:30. VACT.org/tickets for more information. And you are off for the 4th of July next week?
Yes, we're going to take a little vacation.
Good for you.
Yes.
We'll be here without you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll manage.
Stay inside. It's going to be very warm.
Yes, it is.
Very warm week.
All right.
Happy Pride.
You got your button on.
I do.
All right. We'll be right back with the final check of your forecast.
Wait for your roll playback.
Dave's back from his nap. Refreshed.
Yes, it feels, I guess, refreshing outside. It's still pretty humid.
Compared to what it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Warm and humid. This evening, temperatures are in the low 80s, but it does feel more like the mid to upper 80s, even some 90s outside. It will feel like the mid 90s for much of this weekend, but for tonight, can't rule out an isolated evening shower or storm, mild and muggy otherwise. As we head into tomorrow, temperatures getting close to 90 degrees by the afternoon, so a lot of outdoor activities. Remember to practice your heat safety, because when humidity values are this high and it feels close to 100, that heat can catch up to you really quickly, so make sure you stay hydrated.
Yep, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, walk the dogs before it gets hot.
There you go.
Good idea.
Thank you. Monday here on Live at 4, Dr. Zorba Patrick will be taking your medical questions live.
And our Will Loper will tell us what he thinks of the new movie Yesterday. That's coming up Monday on Live at 4. Well, with temperatures expected to hit 90 this weekend, Lola and Louie want to remind pet owners to make sure your furry friends have plenty of water and avoid long walks in the heat.
Better yet, curl up in front of the TV to watch this week's edition of the News Hounds Now Update.
It's News Hounds Now Update with Lola and Louie.
This week on the News Hounds Now Update, zoo animals around the world cool off.
A little piggy having a blast.
And some amazing mimicking seals.
But first, meet Carly. The fuzzy, playful female cub is the newest resident of Six Flags Great Adventure and Safari in Jackson, New Jersey. The Siberian tiger cub is only the second one born in the safari in 15 years. She's named in honor of soccer great and New Jersey native Carly Lloyd. She's being hand-raised by the animal care team. Siberian tigers are endangered and rank as the largest cats in the world. There are only 500 of them left in the wild.
Europe is melting under an oppressive heat wave, but these orangutans at the Vienna Zoo don't seem to mind. Vladimir likes to shower himself down with a hose. He doesn't quite have the tub figured out. 55-year-old female Moda is more sensible. She prefers to shelter from the hot sun under a wet blanket. Over at the Berlin Zoo, keepers there are giving its elephant residents refreshing showers to help them cope with the heat.
And at the Prague Zoo, the gorillas found 2 ice blocks with a mixture of fruit inside. The zoo's 8 western lowland gorillas stuck to a clear hierarchy. Richard, the dominant male in the group, seized one of the chunks, while the remaining 7 had to share the other one. The polar bears had blocks of ice containing carrots, apples, and fish.